Okay, let's talk about multipass rendering and how Cinema 4D can work with After Effects. So this is probably one of the biggest reasons that I started using Cinema 4D in the first place was the tight integration with the Adobe suite and specifically with After Effects because I already use that program. Now, what you're going to need to do in order for that to work is to go to the Maxon website and you're going to need to download the plugin. So you'll download this zip file and then you will go to the plugins directory that is located inside your After Effects folder, which is located inside your Adobe folder on your computer. Put this in the plugins directory, and then when you restart After Effects, it will be ready to pull this file in. So let's get to the good stuff. So I've got my bowling alley set up here, and I'm about to render it out, and I'm thinking that possibly I may want to put a glow on the ball and some particles. That's not something that I want to do here in my 3D program because maybe my client's not going to like it. Maybe he wants me to change it up somehow. It's easier to do these sort of things in After Effects because once it's rendered out of your 3D program, if somebody wants to make a change, it's going to be a big deal to do that. You have to go back and you have to re-render the whole thing, but not the way we're going to do it with the multipass rendering. First, let me click on the ball, and I'm going to come over here. And I am going to put an object buffer on the ball. So I'm going to go to Cinema Tags, Compositing, and click the Object Buffer tab. Click on Enable, and Object Buffer 1 is the buffer we're going to select. Now, when I come up to the Render Settings, under Multipass, I also need to select an object buffer here and make sure Group 1 is selected. So 1 here, 1 here. They've got to match. The other thing that I mentioned is that possibly I want to have particles coming off the ball while it's rolling. Okay, so to do that, I need to put a tag on here that's going to allow it to recognize its 3D position in the scene. So I can do that with the external compositing tag. I click that, so I've got these two tags now. So let's go back up here to the render settings, and I've got my multipass here. I'm also going to select an RGBA image, which is going to give me a complete render of the full image with all the colors, shadows, everything included in the one image. I have my object buffer here. If I wanted to, I could go in here and I could separate all of this stuff out, reflection, refraction, shadows, so that I could control each one of these things separately in After Effects. So if I wanted to render out my shadows, then when I get it into After Effects, if I wanted to make the shadows darker or lighter, I could do that there. Again, very nice to have this kind of control in After Effects. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm not going to put all this stuff in there just to make it complicated right now. I'm going to do an RGBA image, and I'm going to do the object buffer. The object buffer that we have on the ball is going to basically allow me to separate that ball out from everything else in the scene so that I could change colors, put a glow on it, and do whatever I want to in After Effects. We go to the Save tab. I've already got my path saved out of where I'm going to save these files. And then the compositing project file. This is the magic. This is the AEC file that I'm talking about. So make sure that you have After Effects selected. You can work with other compositing programs, but After Effects is the one we're going to work with. And then save the project file. Go to Chapter 10. And I'll save it right here. See, it's got the AEC file extension. In this particular file, I also have ambient occlusion being saved and global illumination. Let's look at the output. We're saving it at 1280 by 720, resolution 72, film aspect ratio good, pixel aspect is square, frame rate 29.97, and we are rendering from 0 to 260. So I think everything is set up. We're going to come over and render to Picture Viewer. And this is going to start the process. We can come over here and we can look at the different ways that our information is rendering out. So if we want to look at the individual layers, we can look at the alpha, the object buffer, background. We can look at the multipass. So I'm going to go ahead and let this render out. It's going to take a little while. And when we are done, I will be back and we'll be in After Effects.